just a quick video I wanted to make today because I saw some people tweeting that the quartering is like bankrupt or something because of his coffee company. And I was actually just looking at all the anti-SJW nerd channels I used to cover here, and I haven't done so for quite a while, to be honest. And I was looking at their views, and I was like, damn, like these views have gone down massively from when, I don't know, when I used to pay attention to them, like 2021, early 2022, where they'd be getting like 500,000 to a million views, like on every single video. And now when I look at the quartering, I find videos of like 40k, and it's actually a big deal if he gets over 200k on a video. And then I looked at Geeks and Gamers channel recently, and although not like terrible views just generally, some of these thumbnails did make me laugh. Snow White failed, we did it, boys. I walked out as Snow White. This is a 40-year-old man doing this. And I was just thinking, like, has anti-SJW YouTube specifically focused on nerd culture, has it had its heyday? Has it had its peak? Now, there's a video I actually always think about. This is weird. From another leftist YouTuber called Tiffany Ferg. She made a video about like the life cycle of YouTube channels and how you have your rise, you have your peak, you have your like maybe stagnation maintenance period, and you have your fall. I think about this all the time because I'm always thinking about myself. And when you're a YouTuber, if you guys don't know, you always doubt, like, are you still relevant? Like, even this year, my momentum, it's so weird to say this. I was ill for like 2 weeks after I got like quite a good bit of momentum in January. And I feel like that has just derailed the last month or so. And I've been thinking so much like, oh, am I just done in terms of like growing? Have I hit the peak last year? And this is my fall as described by this Tiffany Ferg video. But although for me, it remains to be seen if I've hit the peak yet or not, it's pretty clear these anti-SJW YouTube channels are way past their peak now. And they are getting the stagnation, if not the downfall period of their YouTube channel's life cycle. And I just wanted to speculate on a couple reasons of why that might even be. And it begs the question, are these people actually suffering from success? Because Donald Trump is president, Republicans control all branches of government, Elon Musk and his cronies have taken a sledgehammer to the administrative state, and everything they've ever wanted is coming true. Even like corporations are backing down on the woke stuff because they want to get in bed with the Trump administration. Like they're cutting their DEI programs and everything to do with diversity, not because Trump made them. And I think in that context, how outraged can you be all the time, right? Of course, people are always going to be mad. The culture war is going to always go on. But if your side is like heavily crushing people for like diversity or like rolling back women's rights and LGBT rights, are people going to be seeking that content on YouTube about how the woke establishment is ruining video games and movies, especially when it becomes more evident that, yeah, the US government is screwing you. So in the US, your video games are going to go up massively in price regardless of their political affiliation or what politics the games contain themselves. We've seen this recently with the Switch 2 tariff stuff, that they're saying it might up the price by like $200 or something. And that's what their side are now doing. So in this context, there's less outrage towards like wokeness and liberals because liberals aren't that visible at the moment. Liberals are pathetic. Like the Democratic Party is absolutely pathetic. And whatever wokeness is still around, it's being attacked by like this massive kind of like government apparatus which is rolling back all of these things. Like when you're winning and these things are actually happening that you wanted, I guess people are less likely to seek it out on YouTube to start like circle jerking about how mad they are, because why would you do that? You're not going to be as angry when you're winning. But also, related to the Daily Wire video, a lot of these guys are a lot older, like they're in their 40s, right? And I feel like there comes a point in everyone's life that a lot of the things that you used to care about, you just don't really care about anymore, especially when it comes to like media consumption. You so don't care about the popular thing. So, you know, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers making a video about like, you know, Snow White failing or like walking out Snow White. When you're in your 40s, like, even if you're a conservative man, who really gives a fuck? Like, do you actually care? I haven't seen a Marvel movie in the cinema since the Avengers one, and I haven't even felt the need to go and watch another one, right? And you just kind of just stop caring. Like, even there's loads of shows I want to watch right now, and I'm thinking in my head, I got so much shit I have to catch up on. But I'm just so busy. I have no time to pay attention to firstly even watch the shows I want to watch, but to pay attention to this like insane culture war around it. Like, I know they hate the Snow White thing at the moment, but I only know that because that was a couple years ago, and because I follow the Daily Wire stuff, they were trying to make their own alternative to it. But it's like, you know, with I want to watch Daredevil, I want to watch the Fallout show, I want to watch Shogun, I want to play all these video games, and I just don't have fucking time because I'm getting older and you just get more responsibility, so you can't just piss away all your time playing video games and watching TV shows like you're still in college. And I feel like even in that, you can't pay attention to this stuff. You're like not going to waste your time watching these YouTube videos of man babies crying about wokeness when you'd rather spend it like playing video games. Like, I know if I have free time right now, if I'm not playing football or working or seeing friends or my girlfriend, it's just video games. But you only have so much time. So I'm just flipping between Kingdom Come 2 and Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I'm thinking, like, will I even be able to complete this, like, this year or something? I'm just not going to have the time. So that's another part of it. But also, I think another part of it as well, I think people are just pivoting to streamers more. Like, Asmongold is insanely popular. But I don't think, even with their slot format, you can compete with someone streaming for 8 hours and then chopping that up and filling the algorithm with all this garbage. And I guess it's just about personalities, isn't it? Like, popularities of personalities always shift. So, you know, in like the late 2010s, it was like Ninja, like literally like one of the most famous streamers ever. Like, what's even happened to that guy? He's nothing now, right? And that's just the way social media goes. Sometimes there's really popular people and then they go away. Like, if you think of Hassan right now for the left, he's having his moment, he's having his peak, but maybe in 10 years, we don't even know what he's up to. And there's another massive, like, left-wing streamer. And that's just the nature of celebrity, even YouTubers. It's the life cycle. And it feels like people are now just bored of this stuff, where a 40-year-old man sits in front of a computer, reads an article from the Daily Mail, and adds nothing to it. Like, that only has so much of a shelf life, especially when you're pumping, like, 5 of these videos out a day, and you're not changing it for, like, how many years has he had a channel? Like, nearly 10 years at this point. And as someone who has a very consistent format, there's nothing wrong with a consistent format. But if your format is just you reading something out for, like, 95% of the video, that's when it gets boring, on top of all the other factors I've said. But also getting into the financial angle, it's clear this has affected people like the Quartering. I watched a video where he said he's $300,000 in debt because he's trying to run his own coffee company, and he's just put loads and loads of money into that. And I was thinking, and I've said this before, back in the day I used to say he had the infinite money glitch. If you're uploading like 5 times a day and they're all getting like over 500k, you're probably making so much fucking money. And the fact that this guy is now $300,000 in debt and his views are declining, even him having money troubles in the first place, I mean, probably says a lot about his declining revenue on his channel. Now, also, there's one more factor that I think we need to acknowledge as well, and this is maybe more important, is lots of, let's say, normal people who aren't that engaged in politics and don't really give a shit about a lot of this stuff. Like, maybe they think they're anti-woke in some ways. I think a lot of these people have just massively overstepped the mark. So we had that guy crying about Starfield's pronouns, and it was just so forced and such an overreaction. Everyone started questioning, like, yeah, these people are probably just doing it for money, right? We have people like Grums, like, leading it on Twitter, and they just become the butt of so many jokes. Like, I watch some YouTubers, like gaming YouTubers, and I would generally say they might be more conservative. And even I heard them in their script making jokes about Grums. Like, people who do have an audience you'd think would be, like, anti-woke and stuff, they're making jokes about this guy and feeling fine doing that. And then you saw that Opera browser also, like, roasting Grums as well. And recently, with the Assassin's Creed Shadow stuff, even Ubisoft was roasting Grums and Elon Musk, because to general people, even if you might have more conservative politics, they've just become such crybabies and so lame that even associating with them to a lot of people just seems so embarrassing, even if you might be more conservatively inclined, especially when they've been going mental about Assassin's Creed Shadows for months, and then it comes out, everyone likes it, and loads of people like Yasuke, and when you actually play the game for 2 seconds, how they contextualize him makes all the sense in the world, and it just seems like very natural to the story that this guy who actually existed, that's another point to that as well, how he's introduced. So people just play the game and they see that and they're like, oh, like, was I actually meant to be mad about this? This is the wokeness, this real historical figure who's a slave brought to Japan and then like adopted by this powerful warlord and made into a samurai, where you get to play through his training and see all the stuff he goes through. That's meant to be like anti-Japanese hatred and stuff like that, when I'm also playing most of the start of the game as a Japanese woman as well. So I think a lot of people just see the logic is not holding up, and how increasingly like this little community of nerds is becoming an echo chamber in itself. Now, yes, of course we see the real political effects of like Donald Trump and all this anti-woke shit in the real government. At the same time, in terms of this more niche side of like specifically nerd media, it seems like it's becoming increasingly irrelevant in these previously relevant communities, be that like Grums fans on Twitter, or the Quartering, or Geeks and Gamers. So I feel like as well, as the world gets worse and worse, and you're seeing this now, people are like, oh, they ended wokeness and then all the planes started crashing. They ended wokeness and now there might be a recession. People are now kind of realising the class angle as well, where a lot of these people are making a lot of money out of their outrage, and they're promoting these people. Like the Quartering's tweet recently telling people, you know, you don't need to buy stuff and it's all going to be fine, right? If you are a conservative gamer who can't afford their rent and groceries, are you going to like a guy who's made so much money off your viewership to be telling you that? I don't think so. And I think a lot of people are just going to become increasingly sick of this outrage when there's real world issues to deal with as well, like climate apocalypse, but also just right now in America, what they're dealing with under Trump. You can't ignore it, because that's the thing with Donald Trump. It affects your life so directly, you can't ignore it. Him and Elon Musk. And I'm going to make a video on this soon. I wanted to make it like next week, but I'm going away. Donald Trump is Leto II, the God Emperor from Dune. And Frank Herbert would probably be happy with what Donald Trump's doing right now. Not for the reasons you think. But that's a video coming up for later. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.